Hi everyone, welcome back to Elasticsearch Unlocked. In today's video, we'll be diving into a new topic in Elasticsearch, which is index parameter. I have highlighted two topics we are going to be looking into for the next few weeks. We have index templates, injection pipeline in Elasticsearch, and some challenges for us to work on. Without any further delay, let's get into today's lecture. What are index parameters in Elasticsearch? Index parameters are configuration settings that control how an index behaves in Elasticsearch. Think of index parameter as how data is being stored, how data is searched, how the index performs, how it scales, and how data is being managed within our Elasticsearch index. Or why are index parameters so important when it comes to data indexing in Elasticsearch? Without proper index settings, searching products within a particular system or within Elasticsearch becomes very difficult and slow in terms of response. Updates can be so inefficient, data might not be scalable properly, poor performance, and drop under loads. Index parameter controls performance, as I've mentioned earlier. It creates scalability and enables reliability in data management. The most important aspect of index parameters, or some of the important index parameters, are the number of shards within our Elasticsearch index, the number of replicas, and refresh intervals. So we have the number of shards to be how our Elasticsearch or how Elasticsearch splits index or an index into pieces, and it helps to distribute data across nodes, of which, if you recall, which say nodes are instances of Elasticsearch, like our physical machine that is being run or on our computer, and also we see that the number of shards helps improve scalability in data management within Elasticsearch. We have the number of replicas that helps to create a duplicate of or copies of our shards, improve fault tolerance, improve read performance. So why do we even need index parameters at all, or how does it relate to a real world example or a real world scenario in system development? So we could imagine having an e-commerce website where we have millions of products, thousands of searches per second, and most often we see if care is not taken within the system, data could be lost, and there might be poor response, both from the back end and the front end. And so we configure our Elasticsearch engine to have the number of shards, number of replicas, to help prevent some of these problems or situations we might run into in terms of system lacking the efficiency to response. So we could configure our system to have three shards, that is, to distribute the products, and one replica to prevent data loss. And we could also customize the refresh interval to balance up the system performance. Index parameter helps in configuration, and this is where it becomes very important when it comes to data management in Elasticsearch indexing. Alright guys, I'm on my Kibana interface. By now you should be able to know how to start up your two engines, the Elasticsearch and the Kibana. And always remember to start up the Elasticsearch before the Kibana engine. And if your systems are synced together, you should be able to access the Kibana interface UI interface. So let's start off. Remember, our topic today is on Elasticsearch index parameters. So we have to create an index called student. So we'll be taking student, for example, as the main index for this particular practical. So we start by using the keyword or the method put, and we write the index name student, and we set up all the necessary parameters. Since we are talking about index parameters, so we start with setting. Setting is the key word here to set up the parameters the index parameters, so of which replica or number of shirts. Okay, number of shirts is one, and the next is the number of replica. I think I've explained this already. So the number of replica, and you should remember to put your comma to avoid error. And next is going to be setting up our mapping. Okay, you know, the mapping is very, very important, or depending on how you want to structure your data within the Elasticsearch index. So for us, we want our data to have a particular format. That's why we are going to be using mapping to structure the data format in terms of feet, the type of feet we want, and how we want the feet to look like. So we start with the name of the student. So the student must have a name, okay, and the name is going to be set to what data type. The data type should be set to text. So we say type text, 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 and so we have the age type also. And remember, the data type for age, since it's a number, it's going to be a number type. So we have it to be what? Number. So next, we are going to create our Elasticsearch documents to properly see the settings that we've made within this particular index. Or let's run the student index first to see the result from the console. So we run, and it says that we have an error that says mapper piercing exception. So the root mapping definition has unsupported parameters. So it says that one of our mapping has unsupported parameters. So let's see where the error is coming from. Probably is this data type floats of the fields age, and we use floats. So let's see number. Maybe number will be the appropriate data value or type. Okay, and when we run again, insert a particular document into the Elasticsearch index. So let's assume we want to insert a document. We start by using the method posts. We use the method posts, and we set the name of the particular index. So students is the name of the index, and we call it student. So and we set the parameters based on our mapping values. So we said name comes first. Okay, so we say name, and we could call the name of the student to be Simon. And the next is what is the age. We set the age to be what? 24 or 23. Say 24. And now we have this. We have our document, and we could also run this particular index to see the values we have within this document if it is registered within our Elasticsearch index. So let's see the value, the result. So we also have an error of because we did not add the keyword doc. You know, it's a document, and we need to register it within our Elasticsearch index. So that's why we're having this error. So if we update this value like this and we run it, now we have index students, and we have a version of 1. It's one document within our index. We do have total of 2 successful, and the sequence number is 0, and the primary term is 1. So next, so let's see what the index settings, or the index parameters we set within our Elasticsearch index looks like by using the keyword or the method gets. Okay, so when we call our services student document within our Elasticsearch index students, and we use the keyword underscore search, which is the value the Elasticsearch keyword that we use to search for a particular document or a particular index within our Elasticsearch. So we want to see what is in within this index and the settings and the number of replicas. So now I can change the number of shards, mind you, and I can change the number of replicas. So let's see the results. So we have total of 12, and we have the value to be this, and we have the int scores. The age is Simon, and the age is 24, and the name is Simon, and the index is student. Now let's see the settings. So if we use another keyword get to get the student, to see the settings / underscore settings, and we run this. Okay, so we have an exception error, and the exception error is due to the fact that we use an inappropriate type value. So we said it is number index dot numbers instead of number underscore off of sheds and number underscore off of replicas. So if we run this, we're still having this error, but if we go back and run this again, we should have this value and this result. And if we run this setting, we should have another result with respect to the number of sheds and replica within our Elasticsearch index. Settings. And it is students. No such index as students. And we run this, and successfully we have the number of shares is 1, and the provided name is students. We created at this particular numeric values, and we have the replica to be 1. Now let's update the number of replicas. Remember, we can update the number of shares. So for us to update any particular info within our Elasticsearch index, we use the keyword what? We use the keyword put. So we want to update that particular value. So we say put, and we call the document name, which is student, the index, and we put underscore update, and we set the values we want to update, the parameters we want to update within the document. So we said number of replicas, number underscore of underscore replica. Okay, and we set the replica to be what? Let's say 2. Okay, and now when we run this, so no handler found for URI students / updates. Okay, so let's see, why do we have this error? So the error is due to the fact that we use the keyword set update instead of settings. So if we use settings instead of update, we should find it done and settled replicas. And now it is acknowledged, and when we run this student search again, we run student search, we find all the details required, and if we run the student settings one more time, we will discover that the number of replicas has changed and the number of sheds remains the same. So this is how we create an index parameter. We start off by creating the index document, the index itself, and we create a setting within our Elasticsearch index of number of replicas and the number of shards we want this particular document to take, how we want our data to be distributed within our Elasticsearch nodes, and we set the mappings for the Elasticsearch for our Elasticsearch index. And finally, we create the document and put in all the values. Then we can now do some updates and editing of the document based on the number of replicas we want to set in terms of the parameters. So this is how we get this done in Elasticsearch index parameters. In our next class, we are going to be looking into Elasticsearch index template, which is an advancement in Elasticsearch index parameters and overview. So thank you, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye. So before we go, I have a challenge here for you to work on, and I want you to create an index called students and set all the necessary index parameters and insert 3 documents within the Elasticsearch index. On a nutshell, we know that from today's lecture, we've seen that index parameters define how data is stored within our Elasticsearch, how data is being distributed, protected, and made searchable.